Hey everyone, it is the start of the month, which means only one thing, and that is sharing incredible resources with all of you incredible people. So let's go to it. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pears. Absolute pleasure to be here chatting with you all again. Now, I hope that you've had an incredible last month, week, whenever that you listen to this. I just hope that you're all well, safe, and are your family and loved ones too. For those of you who don't firstly know who I am, my name is Max Pears. As I introduce myself, I'm a senior level designer over at CD Projekt Red, working on games for many, many years. But the start of the month is very significant for this part of the podcast because at the end, I've messed that up, at the start of every month, I share incredible resources to all of you incredible listeners. So you've got more incredible work, different kind of elements, different perspectives to see game development and not just mine, because there is so many smart and knowledgeable people in the industry. I always think it's important to share as much work around there to get us all thinking differently and seeing different perspectives. And as I said, if you do want to share some incredible resources with not only me but this community, please get in contact with me. All of that will be in the description down below. Not only will my contact details be there, but also all links to what I'm going to recommend here will also be in the description too. So that way, if you want to actually go and explore these, of course you can. They're all there. And if you want to talk about it, even better. We always love a good conversation on the Discord. So thank you again. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is the incredible developers over at GameTextures.com. For those of you who do not know who these incredible developers are, let me tell you a bit about them and their project. Their goal is to create incredible texture libraries for you as developers from all stages of production, whether that means early prototyping to the finished product. They have a range of different textures for you to download and use in your projects. Not only this, but they really emphasize the fact that it is from developers for developers. So they have a range of different art styles, again, to try fit those needs on multiple platforms, from Unreal with their focus materials to Unity and Blender. All of these are available for you if you join through one of their subscriptions. They have 30 free materials available now at no extra cost if you register and download them, which is in the link down below. You have a ton of different tiers to select from hobbyist, freelancers to full-time dev. They have you covered not only in terms of materials, stage, but price range as well. And for level designers, this is really important. You've heard me say it before about getting your color coding correct. So if you want to increase the different range of materials to help sell your prototypes or full game in development, then please subscribe, and you will also get a 10% discount off their subscription when you use the coupon code level99 at checkout. Join them now, grab a ton of cool materials, and help make your levels and environments pop. Alright, back to the show. Now that we've got the introduction smoothed out, let's go straight into all these incredible resources that are available for us. Resource number 1. This is an interesting one for me. It's a long one as well, so make sure you've got some time when you're about to check this one out. But I do think it's quite an interesting one just to see the history of video games, but also how video games have changed as well. And the video is called The Video Games That Changed Storytelling. There's loads that have come through in different eras as well that I don't think the whole video necessarily covers as well, but there is just a lot to see and go through. You know, it starts really kind of the PlayStation, I guess, 2 kind of era, maybe a little bit before that. So it misses out a few things, I think, but it does have some good elements within it that are worth checking out, because it's just showing you how different games tell stories in different ways, what there is to learn about that, which maybe you can apply into your own video games as well. As we know, narrative and story plays a huge role in any type of game, whether that be multiplayer or single player, right? It's what we're trying to always keep the player coming back and asking questions about. So I think that is always an important one to think about. As I said, it starts kind of late in the gaming industry, so I'm a little bit saddened by that. It's not that it's a bad video, but my point more being is games from even early as like Pong and all of these elements have had some form of way that they've tried to tell a story. Some successful, some not so. Yet there's always something, and technology obviously helps us move further and deliver more interesting stories compared to what we had at the very beginning of the whole industry. However, again, still an incredible selection to go through and see and hear kind of different opinions as they go through it. So again, another one about storytelling that I think can really just help you learn from the masters, other incredible examples, and go through that. Number 2. I really enjoyed this one, a much shorter one than the first example, I will admit. This was called Hard World Building versus Soft World Building. And it's a very interesting one for me because the fact that when you think about this, the kind of storytelling we want to communicate with players, we obviously try and want to make the world feel alive, lived in kind of real in its own elements, not real as in we can reach out and touch it, but real how the people interact with not only one another, but how they interact with their environment as well. And they reference it as well, Tolkien being one of the best for this. He spent years of his life studying, creating languages before he even wrote the incredible books that he wrote. And he kind of built it all so well. Whereas like Miyazaki from Studio Ghibli has a more kind of open-end sense, not in everything, but the aspects of certain things they'll hint at or don't tell you the full story on, but it makes you wonder and question, do they interact with this character or see this part of the world differently due to the fact of these things? And we can all think of our own backstories there, right? It's like when we talk about environmental storytelling, it's a similar thing where we give a hint, but it's up to the kind of player to either figure it out or we leave it up to interpretation. And that's kind of the big differences. But it's got great examples and kind of makes you think when you should do one or the other. And to me, you don't need to pick just one and go with it. It's okay to have a combination of everything. And encouraging people to ask questions, I think that is always important for us when we're building these worlds for the players to explore, right? So I think it's another great one. Again, very narrative focused, this one, but I think it's important for us when we're trying to build our worlds, our levels, in the logic of the game realm, right? So we need to understand and link that. There's some great work there for anyone to check out.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/leveldesignlobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
Now this here, let's just say Resource 3, is going to be a absolute kind of combination of multiple talks kind of in one. Because there's a couple I want to get in here, but I could really just talk about all of these in many different ways, but I just want to share them with you and just to say, combine a few into one example. And that is GDC has been releasing a lot recently the talks, I think it was in 2018, 2019, where Sony Santa Monica devs were able to talk about God of War. And if you know me, I absolutely love the 2018 God of War. I think it's one of the most incredible games, not only from a level design perspective, but just an incredible game, full stop. That to me has inspired me to improve on many levels. And GDC has released a ton of incredible talks recently. The one that I want to talk about, well, the two that I'm going to bring up, all of this you should do is just search GDC God of War in YouTube. You'll find incredible ones. But the kind of few that I want to mention is GDC, the level design of God of War. This is by Rob Davis, who is a lovely human being, very smart level designer, and just an overall incredible person. He is super sweet, very nice to me when I was over there in LA. He was kind enough to take me around the studio, and he's just a good guy. Like, honestly, just nothing but nice things to say about him and the whole team, right? Kai, as we know, has been on, as well as Cthulhu as well. Like, we've had a few of the incredible Sony Santa Monica devs come on the show, and they're all such brilliant people. But he talks about leading the level design team, the hard work of the team members, what they were trying to figure out, and what was the important elements, and just how they came together with that. So obviously check that out, level design related, really go for that. Another good one is taking an axe and reinventing the gameplay, coming from one of their senior combat designers, and how is it that they took on the kind of responsibility of shifting away from not only the Blades of Chaos, but giving this new combat system. You'll hear them talk about it in far more detail, and I don't want to take away from what they've said. But just as we did a talk with Jamie Smith, if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. It was the one released before this episode's come through. And we talked about the 3 C's, and they talk about how there wants to be a bit more intimacy in terms of the combat. So how far do you pull the camera? How far can you swing the axe? Where can we see the enemies coming in? These kind of choices. And the other one I'm just currently watching is the cinematography. I think that God of War has really shown, you'll see a lot of really smart animators, creative people use the cinematography, and we've talked about it with Dan, other examples on the show, and how important that is. But I think they're one of the first games to kind of, let me rephrase this. They are one of the first games to take all of that we've seen before. Shadow of Colossus did it. There are other games. Batman does a great one as well. But really try use cinematography as part of the whole game storytelling, not just for the animatics, right? So really, that's another good one. And then finally, reinventing God of War, which is the talk by Cory Barlog, who to me, I just want to preface this. I've never worked with Cory. I don't know anything like about him as a leader, but going through that presentation, one of the things he does about talking about getting this book made for all of his devs to keep on their desk, to learn about the overall arcing vision, that is one of the smartest moves and one of the best moves as a director I've ever seen or heard of, that he's invested into that so that devs can constantly have that resource there. Trust me, as we talked about so many times, one of the first things that will always break down in game development or any group project is communication. So the fact that he and his team invested into that for all the devs to have is a very smart move. So all the GDC stuff, go check it out, guys. It's incredible for the God of War elements. Now, this here is kind of a little bit different with Resource 4, but I thought I was blown away by this artist called Daniel Arsham. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And how he has been messing around with sculptures and playing around with what they represent, using kind of showing the future of objects by putting them into sculpture form. And it's a really creative one. Some people may not be interested in this, but I really enjoyed his process. And again, just to see another artist work in a different world, but try to deliver similar elements that we're trying to deliver, is always incredible to see and study. He's one of my new favorite artists out there, so I just wanted to recommend him and his work out there. It's very inspiring. Inspired me with a cool little game mechanic, so I think that's great from that one. So that was a brilliant one. Now the final resource, because we've got like a ton here, more than 5, but we want to just kind of leave it with this final one, my friends. And this here is a Q&A, which is by the team who launched Shadowrunner, which is a franchise. I think there's been 3 to 4 of them. They obviously have the board game, but I mean on the PC, and they talk about what it is like to launch a Kickstarter and obviously be successful. I know we've talked and touched on similar topics before, but I think as long as you have all these incredible resources, I found that people are willing to talk about this so that we, as others who may use Kickstarter later, or maybe just something that you can learn from a marketing side, is out there. It's just so important for all of us to consume and really take the time to read through this and what we can take from this and apply it to our own lives moving forward. So again, check this out, team. A really great one there. Now this here is going to wrap it on up. I do hope that you have enjoyed this. As I said, all of these will be in the description down below. A quick summary. The first one is a very long video, which is the video games that change storytelling. Hard world building versus soft world building. 3 was an amalgamation of all GDC talks related to God of War. 4 was Daniel Arsham and his kind of his artistic vision and how he creates with sculptures. Really important there. And the final one being the Q&A about what the team on the Shadowrunner franchise learned from a successful Kickstarter project. Thank you all very much. I hope that you did enjoy this. Again, all of them are down below. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so on Twitter at MaxPairs. You can email into the show, which is at leveldesignlobby@gmail.com. Almost messed that up. If you want to support the show to help us make sure that we keep getting better and join this incredible community where people talk, discuss, and Discord mentorships and much, much more, please head over to patreon.com/leveldesignlobby. Thank you all very much. Take care, and I'll catch you all next time.